Welcome back. This is segment 3 of Citizens Forum being filmed on Tuesday, September the 22nd. I'd like to thank again our volunteer crew and the Shaw staff that makes the program happen. Our guest in this segment is Norm Ryder, and we're going to be talking about something that I think is important, which is that there is a hunger for independent media. So, Norm, take it away.
Yeah, well, I've been doing splitting the segments of your show down and putting it on YouTube, and I've watched how the views and just how things have improved there, and I realized that independent people want other news sources. They want other information. For instance, in the last 3 months, there's been an increase of the number of minutes viewed of 41%, and the number of actual views have gone up 17%. So people are watching the segments more and being more interested in what's going on. The good part is you've had 62 likes and 0 dislikes on YouTube, which is always...
Well, I prefer to say we.
Well, okay.
And our numbers aren't high, but they're growing.
They're growing, and that's the nice thing. There's been an increase in subscribers on YouTube. Now, subscribing on YouTube, if you subscribe when a new YouTube gets posted on your channel, people get an email message that once a week, actually, that it's come out, which does let people know what's going on. It's a good way to promote it. Now, also in the same period, there's been 150 shares. People have basically said, this is a great video, let's watch it. In the same period last year, there was only 8 shares, so we are getting somewhere there. And actually, YouTube's got a lot of interesting little stats you can look at, such as, it surprised me that the people watching on computers has stayed fairly constant over the last year, that only a slight increase in iPad and tablet devices. You can go on for a long time on all these little useless stats really on it. It'd actually be interesting to see what Shaw Cable does. Now, how your views are compared on Shaw Cable to what I've found on YouTube. And the other interesting part is that I noticed that the interviews you had with people that have a strong social network, you can have actually quite a few, well up into the hundreds of hits in a day, actually, on if people are promoting what
their
they
own
did,
interview.
What they did, and it really is something that all your people that are interviewed, they all have a social network to encourage them to get their friends and associates to promote their videos or promote their piece.
One big group is the whole EMR, electromagnetic radiation group. They're organized.
Yes, that is probably the strongest local group that has some really surprising hits on their pages.
So when we do stuff with them and they send it out, those particular interviews get some hits. But you know what we really need, what I'd like to do is more of a news program once a week or something like that, because I think that would be popular on the internet.
I think it would too, and there's enough independent media people in Victoria that you probably could pull everything together and do a news program and have shall we say, a full-fledged independent media production covering not the print, but on a web page, which is essentially the equivalent of print in today's age, podcasts for your radio as well as the video. I'd like to bring a lot of people together to actually start doing this, because they are doing it. We might as well collect it together, actually.
Well, you know, for sure, the equipment is there and the people are there too. It just needs to sort of happen even once, just to make it happen, and then see where it goes from there.
Well, actually, just sitting here waiting to come on, one person told me about 3 media sources, local media sources I wasn't aware of. And all of these have to be, they're out there. It's difficult to search for them. You to find all these independent ones because everyone is operating independently.
So what we kind of need is, like, for a local thing, a Victoria website page, and if somebody went there, you know, if you're interested in gardening, here's some websites, and if you're interested in what's happening in Syria, go there, right? Is that the kind of thing?
That would be quite easy to set up, and it's actually, that's what I'd like people to contact me to actually set it up. That's why I set up that email address of independentmedia@sios.ca.
So if people have a website that they would like to put up in another place so people can find it, you'll do it in a...
We can get something set up. I'd like to talk to them first to find out, because I've got one idea, someone else may have another idea that will work better than mine. I'm quite happy to go with the better idea, whatever that one is.
Yeah, okay. Well, it sounds like a good idea. Yeah. So how to push this independent media forward?
Well, this is one way of doing it, is that getting the word out in a couple of common central sources of the independent news to go out. I prefer independent news rather than alternate media, because really it is just independent, and it's, to me, overall very important for a democracy. We might as well throw in something about the election now, that at one time we did have a much more independent media which kept a democracy in line. In a sense, they watched the people that were watching us. Now we're into a situation who is watching the watchkeepers.
And the watchkeepers being the media.
Yeah, we've lost that.
Yeah. Well, now
need somebody to watch.
Yeah, we do. We really, really do.
Well, yes, and what really sunk that home the last couple of days was how Elizabeth May got on and used Twitter to essentially crash the debates, and that was kept very quiet in the mainstream media.
Okay, so I know nothing about that. I mean, I've heard a little bit here and there.
She collaborated with Twitter to basically almost be a fourth person sitting right in the media or in the debates. And what I found very interesting with it was that a lot of people, you may not have heard about it that much, but a lot of people were well aware of it, but in the mainstream, and I use the term mainstream intentionally, not mainstream, because they try and overwhelm all the independent voices out there, but they said very little about what she said, a little bit about her Twittering. They said nothing. I don't know of any substantial comment they made about the content of what she was saying.
What did she say?
She was basically just promoting the Green agenda, shall we say, in the Green Party.
Which is, I don't even know what it is.
That's her economic package, how she sees things, that a lot of people, I don't think, realize the Green Party actually has a fully laid out package that, at least in theory, could form the government as well as any other of the parties. But that's been kept very quiet. But I've noticed another interesting thing with the mainstream media, that when the election started, CBC would show the five party leaders, including Doucette.
Oh, right, including Doucette from the Bloc, yeah.
And
that's right.
He was dropped off, and in the last couple of weeks, they've dropped Elizabeth May out of the... Yeah. So you only see the 3 official contenders.
And it's worth repeating that in the last election, the Greens got 1/10 of the votes that the Conservatives got. The Greens got 600,000 votes. The Conservatives got 6 million, 10 times as many. And yet, in terms of coverage from the corporate media, the Conservatives and the Liberals and the NDP get 10,000 times as much coverage as the Greens. It's because the people who own the media don't want the Canadian public to hear what Elizabeth May and the Greens are saying. So they're locking them out. It's a disaster for us.
It is, but I wonder at this time how effective it is that there are some independent voices getting the information out there about her. Maybe not to the general public, but the word is getting out there, which I do think we can, as an independent media, get the word out, especially if we work together.
Yeah.
Promote each other's.
Yeah. Well, I like your idea of a centralized kind of webpage. That, to me, it sounds like a great idea, actually. Then we have to get people to come to it, but that could work.
At least you've got one place to go to instead of
and it's,
probably 20 different places in Victoria you could go.
Yeah. Norm, we've got about a minute left. Anything else?
No, other than just to repeat the email address of independent_media@sios.ca. If they can contact me, we can work on getting something organized.
Okay, and once again, if people have a website that they want publicized, that's who should be contacting you. Or if somebody wants to help put the thing together.
Well, it also includes if they just want to do video media. I mean, we've got other choices.
Right, okay. Norm Ryder, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this segment of Citizens Forum.